Hey Salties, ToxicAvenger here with another Salty Pirate Crew gameplay video. The recent drop of Chapter 3 has brought a lot of updates to game mechanics, resources, and items. The free mint, additionally, coming up in just a few days, has also brought a lot of new crewmates into the community, and I hope this video will help some of them develop their sea legs a little bit faster. If you're just jumping into the Saltyverse ecosystem, welcome. I think you'll find the SPC to be a refreshingly mature and inviting community, and I really hope you find your place here. With new community members in mind, I've decided to split this video into two parts. Part 1 is an overview of the project, and Part 2 is the actual gameplay walkthrough. Let's jump in. The Salty Pirate Crew is an NFT project that has both Web2 and Web3 functionality, going honestly far beyond a simple PFP project that it might look like at first glance. So first I want to look at the Web2 and in real life side of SPC. And honestly, one of the aspects that I've been most impressed by is the amount of connections that the founding team has within Australian popular culture. If we look at this post by SPC Twitter, we can kind of get a decent look at some of the artists, celebs, and athletes that they've brought on board. You might note that several of these are EDM artists, so I'm specifically going to kind of click through some of the profiles of some of these guys. You know, we've got Fisher, DJ Tiger Lily, Brooke Evers, Dom Dalla, and you know, these are all Australian artists. So if you're not based within Australia, whether you might be in Europe or North America, and think, what relevance do these guys have to me? If you don't recognize them, you don't know how big they are. But there's some big artists here. You know, this video that you're watching right now is Dom Dalla from a sold-out show at Red Rocks in Colorado. Fisher, just earlier this month, played on main stage at Tomorrowland, which, if you don't know much about the EDM space, Tomorrowland is just about as big as it gets. It's an event in Belgium, hosted each year. So honestly, these are not small artists. These are relevant on an international scale, even though they are located or home-based in Australia. Beyond DJs, celebs, and athletes, there's partnerships with companies like Hard Fizz and agencies like No Standing. So the first one that I really want to look at is the Hard Fizz partnership. Hard Fizz is an alcoholic hard seltzer based out of Australia. There is a Salty Pirate Crew rum punch flavor that has been in development for the past couple of months, brewing and canning and labeling, all of the design work that goes into a release like this. So that was a flavor that was voted on by the DAO, and the team at Fizz has said that this is the best tasting flavor that they've developed so far. So everybody's pretty excited about this. If you go to the Salty Pirate webpage and you go to the Fizz tab, this gives you an idea of what the cans are going to be like. The pre-order button is not enabled currently, or maybe it's just geo-locked because I'm in the States, but I don't think that's the case. I just think it's not enabled at this point. So anyways, Salty Pirate Crew Rum Punch. We have our NFTs on the can. The NFT on the left up there is DJ Tiger Lily's one of one. The NFT on the right is Brooke Evers, one of one. So the artists are excited to have their NFTs on a can. We're excited to have SBCs on a can. And Fizz is excited about a partnership within the Web3 space, really bridging real world and Web3 and just figuring out what this does for a company. So it's pretty exciting. I think we're the first NFT to do anything like this. And a little bit of not so well-known info is that there are going to be some gold cans that have some special functionality within the SPC ecosystem. So grab some rum punch when it becomes available and be on the lookout. Hope you snag a gold can. Past Hard Fizz, we've got a partnership with No Standing. No Standing is a digital marketing agency. You can kind of see some of the work that they've done if you go on their webpage. They appear to be shifting a lot of their focus from Web2 brands into Web3. They see a lot of growth potential there, and so they're interested in that space, so that's where they're starting to move. And another partner is Life Without Andy. They're a culture blog. Seems like if you're anyone inside of popular Australian culture, you probably have connections with someone associated with Life Without Andy. Outside of their blog, they also host in real life events and parties, so pretty awesome people to be partnered with. This really gives Salty Pirates an opportunity to be culturally significant outside of just Web3, but actually in the real world. So looking forward to this and seeing how this pans out. That pretty much covers it for the Web2 partnerships, but one in real life benefit that I did not cover yet is Fizz discount codes. So if you're a holder of SPC, you can order some of their product from their website, and when you go to checkout, you might just have access to a discount code. So be on the lookout for that, and let's move on to the Web3 side of SPC. One of the things that SPC members have been most excited about is the Metaverse concert space that has been in development for the last few months. This is a concert and event space that can hold around 3,000 users at a time, but is going to start with a smaller number. It may make more sense why we've partnered with some of those EDM artists and why they've partnered with us. You know, this is a pretty big deal when you look at previous trends in online hosted concerts. You know, I think of like 20 million users being online in a Fortnite concert at one point in time. And so I think this is a growing space. I see a lot of utility here. To access this metaverse, you'll need a metaverse key that I believe is going to be a future free mint, which you will need to own a Gen 1 pirate to earn. So this is a big deal, you know, with the quality of artists that SPC has partnered with and the space that's been developed. Everyone is really looking forward to seeing this accessible and what this looks like for the future of Salty Pirates. We also have some NFT collection partners, those being ETH Lizards, Bits, Fat Cats, Neon Pantheon. I've also seen some guys drop in from Magma, so happy to have you guys and look forward to these future collabs. Another item of note is that we are a DAO-based NFT, so some previous votes have been on-chain versus off-chain gaming, the Fizz flavor, the purchase of some blue chip NFTs, marketing expenditures, royalty percentages. It's been really good to be a part of this. There's been some very level-headed and smart conversations around these decisions, so very pleased with the community and how they've approached these decisions. The last item to discuss on the Web3 side is the SPC game. This is an ongoing and interactive game that's accessible by Saltyverse NFT holders. On the roadmap page, we can kind of get an overview of Chapter 1 and Chapter 2. Chapter 1 wasn't really part of the game. It was just the original mint of the Gen 1 collection, which is 3,000 pirates, 7 different Genesis, multiple body types usually in each Genesis. And so Chapter 2 is really where the game started. Chapter 2 is a play-to-mint strategy game where you are trying to build a crew of Gen 1 pirates with an optimal balance of resource generation. What I mean by that is each pirate, based on their Genesis and body type, generates resources each day, every 24 hours. And you would use those resources to craft items, and then those items could be used with a few more resources in exchange for a siren. So this was a play-to-mint game, which is a pretty novel idea within the Web3 space. Honestly, it created more ownership and value into a free collection than I've seen in many other collections. You know, often if you just give away a Gen 2 collection, those just hit the market, and both collections can crash as a result of this added supply to that ecosystem. But these Gen 2s have held their value, and so been pretty pleased with what the team has done around that Chapter 2 game and this idea that they've come up with in Play to Mint. Now, that brings us to Chapter 3. Chapter 3 has gotten a lot more complicated. You can imagine if you've got Gen 1s, now we have Gen 2s in the ecosystem. Chapter 3 is bringing 2 more generations of NFTs to the collection, so things are rapidly getting more complicated. This brings us to our gameplay walkthrough section of the video, so if you skipped ahead and are just joining us, welcome. Let's jump in. So on the Salty Pirate Crew main page, or website, there is a game tab. This game tab will open up. You're going to hit play. There will be a MetaMask pop up where you will sign a message, and you will be logged into your dashboard of the game. I've already signed my MetaMask transaction in this window, so I have my game dashboard pulled up. You're going to see what NFTs you own within the Saltyverse ecosystem. I've got 12 pirates, 10 sirens, 3 cabins, and the cabins can be activated. Each power cabin has a different set of attributes. So my Esper rooms gives these bonuses. My armory gives these bonuses here. I prefer to leave my Esper room up. There's different strategies for everyone. These are the current resources I own. These are the different fleet voyages that are available in this chapter and the different items that are available from the different voyages in this chapter. This game key kind of lines out the rarity, or it's just a legend of the items that are shown in the game, and these are my resources earned per day. So this is kind of what you really want to know here on this page, and addition to your all available resources currently. So each day there's a time slot for pirate resource generation, there's a time slot for siren resource generation, and there's a time slot for power cabin resource generation. So those all three happen at different times throughout the day, but this is my collection here that you can look through, and this is all on your dashboard. So resources per day is determined by each pirate's genesis, body type, and special attributes. But we're just going to go through the game tab by tab. So we've gone through dashboard. Let's look at the About page. The About page explains the game, shows the different genesis type between the two collections, and then there's an FAQ that's pretty helpful. Some things that I want to review right now are world events and mini games. World events are resource modifiers that happen in the game for a certain period of time. These have been announced in the past, but they've also been just dropped without an announcement in the past. So it does behoove you to keep up to date with the game. Mini games happen inside the Discord, and you can play those mini games and earn in-game resources through playing those mini games in the Discord. Another item that I want to discuss is how resources are generated. You do not have to do anything to start earning resources. You don't have to log into the game. You just have to own a pirate or a siren or cabin. By logging in, the game you're just looking at what resources you've earned. The game keeps track of all of the NFTs, and it's giving you resources each day, whether you're playing the game or not. So you don't have to worry about that. You don't have to do anything to keep your resources generating. They're doing it, so it's honestly pretty easy. You don't have to worry about much, but it does behoove you to pay attention to the Discord and log in to the game on a pretty regular basis. Now that we've covered the About, let's look at the Resources tab. This is where you're going to figure out what your pirates generate, or at least make sense of those daily resource generation that you had on the dashboard. So you can see here human Gen 1 pirate, human Gen 2 siren. They each create more resources each day than their other genesis types in their collection. So humans are the most efficient. They may not produce the most rare resources, but they are the most efficient at resource generation, which is helpful because there's more of those in the collection than anything else. So humans, just because they're less rare, does not mean that they are not as useful in the game. They might be more useful than a lot of the other body types. So just be aware of that. You can kind of tell how complicated this game gets in that each body type has different resource generation, and beyond each body type there are rare bonuses for certain attributes or special body types within a genesis. So there's two versions of the aliens, and this version of the alien here earns 2 more silver a day. Silver is a pretty valuable resource in this game, and 2 silver is huge. An Ape King from the Gen 1 collection earns 2 extra gold per day. A Sekhmet earns 1 gold per day. That's a Siren. Inferno body types earn 2 extra fire. These are I'm just giving examples. And so those are body types, but in addition to body types, we have attributes. So these are things like eyes and hats and jackets and hair, and so these also give bonus attributes. So these are some more rare attributes that will help you gain more resources, which as a result, usually those NFTs have a little bit of an elevated value over items that are pretty similar but don't have those specific attributes. So Resources tab really just helps you make sense of your daily generation. The game really starts here in the Voyages tab. This is how you earn those items. You'll need those items to trade in for your Gen 4, which is a Salty Pirate pet. So to go on this voyage, which I'm just going to go ahead and do now, I've waited to make this video a few days so that I've built up enough resources to go on a voyage, and I'll make it through the rest of these tabs, and then we'll back up and we'll walk through a voyage example together. So I don't have enough resources. I don't have enough rum. Rum in Chapter 1 was pretty plentiful resource. It wasn't super rare, but this chapter, there's a lot of rum needed there for just this first voyage. So this is the Pearl voyage. Each voyage, it's the Pearl voyage. There's 5 different voyages. Each voyage has different resources that are needed to go on that voyage. So I'm going to click through. We can look at the Interceptor. I don't have enough fruit. On the Interceptor for the Grim Reaper, I'm missing gems, and is that poison? I want to say that's poison. On this voyage, the Dutchman. Ooh, I have enough to do the Dutchman. Okay, we might look at doing that one here in a bit. And the Queen Anne's. Queen Anne's is tough. This is need a lot of stuff here. So I'm short on fire, short on this is life, and short on wood. Yeah, we might have to do a Dutchman voyage here in a little bit. I'm going to move on to the recruit page. This is once we have the 5 items. We have a knife. I think this is a potion, a cauldron, element 21, and sapling or plant, something like that. I don't know off the top of my head, but this is where we actually recruit a pet, and we mint, and we'll sign a MetaMask transaction, and all we got to do is pay for gas, and we've minted a pet from the Gen 4 collection. The trade tab is where you can exchange items for salt or salt for items. So don't miss this little button right here, which is the reversal button on the resource exchange. So you could pretty easily gloss over this if you don't just notice that button, but this is what allows you to go from buying resources with salt to swapping resources for salt. So don't miss that. This is what would allow me to go on a voyage that I might not have enough of a particular resource. I think I was short on rum, so I could go and buy rum at a rate of, let's see, 2 salt per 1 rum, and I can just type in however many I want. I want to spend 100 salt, and that would give me 50 rum. If I hit swap, the exchange will be made, and my salt balance will be deducted, and my rum balance will be added to. On the loot boxes tab, this is your one opportunity to gain gold and silver. Gold and silver cannot be bought or traded for. So outside of earning them from your pirates or sirens or cabins, you have to get gold and silver through loot boxes. There's multiple different types of loot boxes. You can see your resources, available resources on this tab as well. Do be aware that loot boxes are not always full of something. You could get nothing from a loot box. That's just part of the randomization here. That's the chance you take by going this route. So I historically have not bought a lot of loot boxes, but I don't know. We'll see how things change. Again, The team has made a lot of updates to the balancing, and I think they've done their best to make loot boxes more viable, or a more viable strategy in this chapter. So don't discount them. I'm going to be testing it out at some point in time, but pretty limited on resources, just being a few days in. So that's it. On the loot boxes, if we look at the last tab, this is history. This is an update to this chapter. We did not have this history tab in chapter 2. This is honestly super helpful. This is a daily log. I can look back at what happened each day. I can see what resources were generated at each time drop. I can see when I switched, which power cabin was active. I haven't been super active other than that one day. And this is my log for today. You know, I've earned siren resources, I've earned cabin resources. I haven't hit the roll around for pirate resources, but you can see earlier when I changed to the Tortuga Armory and I moved it back to the Esper room. So pretty much everything you do in this ecosystem is logged, and it's extremely helpful when trying to make sense of what resources you've earned, or maybe debugging or anything like that. This is a really good value add that was done by the team. So in terms of strategy, it's really just about building your crew with your pirates and sirens and your cabin, and getting a good balance of those daily resources, and then spending those resources wisely. There are a couple of different opportunities of chance in here. If we go back to the dashboard, I want to say we can look at these items. You'll notice that there's 15 items here. There's 5 fleet voyages that you can go on, which I'm just going to make note here. Those fleets tie into factions that you can join within the community Discord. Queen Anne's is the best one. Don't let anybody tell you different. I'll see you there. But those are 5 different fleets. So if we do some, simple division, 15 divided by 5, there's 3 different items that are potentially available from each voyage. So with that said, we know we only need 5 of those items. So there's a chance factor here that you may go on a Pearl voyage and you may not get the item that's actually needed to mint a pet. So you've got a 33% chance each time you go on a voyage to get the item that is actually needed to mint a pet. So you're going to be going on more voyages than you really want to, but that's the nature of the game. The other chance factor is obviously the loot boxes. So without further ado, let's go on a voyage, just so we can go on a voyage that actually requires some swapping of materials, so you get to see that happen. Let's go on the Pearl voyage. I'm going to go to the trade tab since I'm short on rum. Looks like I am short 170 rum. So let's go trade. I'll change this to rum. I'm going to buy 170 rum, which is 340 salt, which I do have the balance to cover. Swap. Let's do a confirm here. And if I go back to my voyage tab, look at that, 350 of 350 needed rum. I am going to start this voyage. I just got to my 1 gold today with my gold coat demon. So this has allowed me to go on this voyage. Didn't have to buy any loot boxes for gold or silver, just because of the pirates and sirens that I own. So let's do this. All right, voyage. Oh, I got the knife. So I am extremely lucky. I got the knife on the first voyage, which is one of the needed recruitment items. So 33% chance, roll of the dice, and I got lucky and got the knife. So thank you for being here for my success. Yay me. And I think that's about it. Honestly, if you have any questions, hit me up in the Discord. I'm there each day at some point in time. But if I'm not there, somebody else will answer your questions. Very helpful, very kind community, and looking forward to playing this chapter out. I don't know how long it's going to take, but I expect we'll be playing this for at least the next couple months, and hope you guys enjoy it, and I'll see you around.